Here's
So have
Pat
you got about
McQuaid, Nova High School, but 2024 ABCA Hall of Fame class inductee, FHSAA Hall of Famer, 45 seasons, 947 wins, 18 district titles, 2 state championships, and 1 national championship. So, Coach, thanks for jumping on with me.
enjoying it. Thank you.
Yeah, these are my favorite ones that we get to do because we get to shine a light on every level of the great coaching that we have at all levels. So I always get pumped for these ones.
Good, good, good. Ready to go.
Yeah, you had a 50-1 stretch, '05 and '06.
If you throw '04 in there, I think it was like 80 something and 4 because like when we won the state championship in '04, I want to say we might have had 3 losses. We were like 31-3, and we were like 31-1, and then we were 28-0. So that was a good stretch. Had some great players.
I mean, it being so cyclical at the high school level, did you have feeder programs coming in Nova with the younger kids?
No, no. We Nova, we were sort of unique. We were a school where kids have to apply to get into the school, lottery system. So even though we were K through 12, we really didn't have a feeder program because we drew from all over the county. So it wasn't like if we were like Cooper City, the Cooper City Optimists kids would come to us. It was just different all the time who was going to show up in our program.
So, I mean, what do you attribute to that group being so good then?
Just good kids, good kids, kids that came up through the elementary school, and then kids that got in. It was just a unique group of kids. I mean, our run started in probably 2000, and then from 2000 to about 2010, we were, phenomenal. And then towards the end of my career, we got on a run again. So it's just, you just coach the kids that show up, and you try to get better, and you try to mold them to where they're good people. And high school baseball is all about repetition and love. You know,
Did your coaching style change much over the 45 years?
no, no. I think as you got older, you appreciated the kids more, and you maybe dealt with them at a different level where you were. Although I was always concerned, make sure they got in school, make sure that everything was good at home and those kinds of things. And what I enjoy most is all my ex-players that come back. Whether it's a playoff game and you see their families, and the little kids running the bases, and just the greatest thing as a coach is not winning losses, because that all takes care of itself. I think it's when a kid comes back and maybe he wasn't a starter, he tells you thank you. And that's why you coach.
Who did you learn empathy from? Because I think that's kind of a new school approach. You didn't see it as much back then, but just being empathic to your players and what they were going through. Did you always have that, or who'd you learn that from?
I don't know if you. I mean, you learn it, but you really don't know who you learn it from. It's just a behavior. People have been nice to you. People have taken care of you, and I just think it's something that your parents instill in you, and then if you're around good coaches and good teachers, you find out that you get more being nice to people than you do being a knucklehead.
I agree. Not everybody agrees with that, but I agree about being nice to people is a huge step in the right direction. I think we need more of that right now in our society, so I think people need to be nicer to each other.
Well, like I tell my wife all the time, you get more with sugar than you do with vinegar. If you're nice and you give things to people, then people are going to come back and take care of you. I'll give you a good example today. We had a issue in our bathroom. I had called up one of my ex-players' dad. He was here in 10 minutes. And I appreciate, you make a phone call, and because they believe that you took care of their kids and you did a good job with their kids, they're going to come back when I make a phone call. Like my wife says, you got people. No, I got nice people. that appreciate what we've done. And so, but that was a quick little story that happened this morning.
Yeah, that's my dad had a lot of good quotes, but my favorite one of his is you see the same people on the way up as you do on the way down.
Right.
Just as a reminder of being humble and treating everybody with kindness.
Right. And one quote from my dad all the time, he says, nobody has to tell you you're good. Don't hang around expecting for people to pat you on the back. If you know you're good at something, you're good. You don't need people to tell you that. And I think I've lived by that.
And shout out to Lou Pavlovich, retiring now with collegiate baseball, but he had a great article in there, with you practicing JV and varsity together. Did you come in with that model?
No, what actually happened, probably 7-8 years into coaching, our county decided that they were going to stop JV baseball. So now you incorporate those couple coaches into your varsity program. And then in 3 years, when they decided to go back to JV, I wasn't going to tell coaches that were with me on the varsity and everything, no, you go back with the younger kids. So we practice everybody together. And it really worked out. And what's special is you have a Michael Morse at shortstop that was drafted in the second round. And now there's a 13-year-old kid that's a freshman, and he's taking ground balls with him. He's going to learn quicker than, and he's going to listen to Michael maybe more than he listens to me, because those are kids that they look up to. So it was always good for us, always good for us.
What was the district's decision on getting rid of JV baseball or JV sports in general?
No, it was just baseball. I mean, they had football and basketball. It was just an economic thing, and it was only, different people come into power, different people make different decisions. And so it was just one of those things, and probably was the best thing that ever happened to us, because we worked everybody together. And what we tried to do was try to get every kid in a varsity game sometime during the year that was in the program. We probably had 44 kids in the program. And then what happened too was we tried to play our JV games on Saturday. We play a Saturday doubleheader. So all the coaches were there. Our varsity kids would be hitting in the cage. So just sort of like everybody was involved. Everybody in the program was there every day. And that's the young kids grow faster. And it allows me an opportunity to see the young kids every day and decide when they're ready to play. So no, it's something that I recommend, even though sometimes the logistics are hard when you have so many kids.
Yeah, you're building a community with that.
Right.
Were your teams built on foundation of handling the baseball?
Of what?
Of handling the baseball defensively.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. No, we were, I think, just like I tell everybody, I think high school baseball is about repetition. I mean, you're there to develop the kid. And we believed in ground balls, swings, and throw around. Those three things we did every day.
So your practice plan was pretty set every day with those in the beginning?
Right. Yeah. I mean, what we would always start practice with individual work for about 15, 20 minutes, and then we'd go to outfield, where we set three coaches up, and they would hit. We go ground balls left, right, fly balls left, right, and they'd be hitting the cuts all the time. So you'd have all your infielders, and you got a lot of work there. Then we would go to our double infield, and then we would do our throw around, and after that we would do some part of either outfield situations or PFPs or whatever. We would do that, and then we'd go to our hitting. And I learned a long time ago, after the first few years coaching, that hitting is the most boring thing you can do, because kids would be out there in the field jacking around, and somebody would be throwing BP, and the kid gets 5 or 10 swings, and that was your batting practice. So what we've done is we went to what we call hit and run. where the first part, what we do usually was we get the varsity kids, we put half in the cage, half at home plate, and our JV kids in the field. So our young kids are learning how to play defense because what happens is you're going through your lineup. You got to run out first, and now that kid's hitting a live pitch from the coach is throwing, so he's throwing pretty good, and you're playing live baseball, stealing, going from first to third on a base hit. So you're running the bases. I'll be at third, giving signals in a sense, so I can make a decision if the kid can go from first to third or can go from second to home. So now I'm learning my kids. So we do that like 20 minutes each group or whatever. And then we also, sometimes when we want to just put the young kids in the batting cage, our varsity kids, we divide them in two teams and you go 6 outs. 6 outs, if you hit and you don't get sick, you hit all day. So the defense got to get you out if they want to hit. So I just learned that was better because it became a situation where the kids were competitive. And it's hard to teach competition. I think, nowadays kids aren't quite as competitive.
Well, they don't get as many game reps now, too.
Right.
And that was a college practice that you're running, by the way. How long did it take the JV kids to kind of acclimate to the amount of throwing that they were going to have to do?
No, first week they'd all be sore, but then it was no problem. I mean, I'm old school in that where we threw every day.
I don't think kids throw enough now. I don't.
No,
I don't. And I was an everyday throw guy. We had to take a day off at the college level because we had to. But if our guys could have thrown every day, I would have had them throw every day.
Right, and I was old school where give the pitcher the ball, and I don't want to take it back till after the game. So, and we've had great success with that, and we've never had really arm issues as long as you space, the bullpens out and things like that. But it's, the thing I enjoy most is putting the pieces of the puzzle together every year, because it's different every year. And I think in retirement, the thing I miss most is I miss the kids. You miss the interaction with the kids and watching a kid come in at 14 years old and leave 18 as a man now. And I think high school, there's so many firsts in a kid's life during high school. And they remember everything. They go to college, things are a little bit different, but high school, their first date, their first car, and so forth, everything is a first. So they remember more about their high school teammates and the games and the things that they did. So that's why I think high school is special.
How did you handle that with kids when maybe they were struggling a little bit with what was going on off the field?
When we talked, there was times, there's kids always have, issues at home. And you'd have kids that, we had kids, once or twice we had kids that might be homeless or a kid that, there's 5 families living in their home. And you just try to take care of them when you can, give them a ride home if they need it. You need to stop at Burger King to give them something to eat, and you just show them that you love them and you care about them. And you want to be able to have the kid come in and talk to you when things aren't right, or the more you coach, you can pick when a kid is, when a kid's not doing what he should be doing or not feeling good or whatever. And those are the kinds of things and that you try to keep up on, because you got to know all your kids, and everyone is important. It's not just, the superstar over here. No, it's everybody that you decided to keep on the team. And sometimes, you kept a kid on the team because he needed to be on the team. And I never let kids quit. It's like, no, you're going to stick it out and you're going to, make it through. So we were pretty good about that. But I think you just show the kids you care.
How did you get to Florida from Virginia?
Well, no, my dad was in the military. my dad, I was born in Fort Belvoir, Virginia, and my mom and dad worked in the Pentagon. So from there, they came to Florida. My dad was in the hotel business, so that's why we were in Florida. Got here when I was like 5 years old. So
And then for college, you went to Catawba. Did you want to try to get back to the Mid-Atlantic, or was that your best option of going to play in college?
well, I had you never know if you make the right call or not. Catawba was going to let me play baseball and football because I was more of a football guy starting out, and I could have went to the Citadel and I could have went to like Montana State, but Catawba seemed like the fit. Coach Stratton was a good man, and I had a pretty good career there.
And then you headed to App State after that?
Yeah, I was at App State as a grad assistant in 1975 in football. And a funny note, Jim Morris from the University of Miami was, when I was leaving in '76, he came in as a grad assistant in baseball at App. But App was such a great experience. I was a graduate assistant in football, and we had just got into the Southern Conference, and that year we beat Wake Forest and South Carolina. So it was a good experience in the sense that I got to see what coaching in college was like. And I used to always go down and throw BP for the baseball team.
There's always a
But yes,
beautiful picture of App State's field when the leaves start changing in Boone.
oh yeah, no, and my roommate at Catawba ended up being the athletic director at Appalachian for about 25 years. So it was good. Carolina, I think my wife had her choice. That's where we'd be, right there in Boone.
We're fortunate we moved out this way. We're right in the middle of it.
Where are you?
We're in Greensboro, so we're not
Oh,
far.
Greensboro. Yeah, that's right. 30 miles. Oh, that's right. You're at
Yeah, not far. My son lives in Asheville, so I get to drive through that part of the world every once in a while when I get to go see him. So I love that part of the country. It's beautiful over there.
Yeah, Salisbury's about 30 miles away from Greensboro.
Yeah, they've done a good job with their facilities at Catawba.
Yeah, no. Jim Gant's a good
Jim's
man.
great guy.
Good man, and he's a guy that one day should be in the Hall of Fame because he's spent his whole career there building the program, and he hasn't wanted to go at higher level. He feels comfortable right where he is.
So is the goal to always go back to Nova then at some point?
Yeah, well, yeah, yes, and no. When I graduated from Catawba, I went right to Nova. They hired me right away. I coached freshman football. We were undefeated the first year I coached, and then I did the first year JV baseball, and then I became the head baseball coach at like 24. But yes, but then when I went to Appalachian as a graduate assistant, I had some chances to go to college, but it was like, no, it's sort of hard to explain. I just didn't want to move my family all over the place. And
well, especially you get in that football lifestyle. Every college football coach I've known has moved like 20 times.
Well, that's what happened. I saw some guys go to places for a year or two, and then the staff would get fired, and then they're scrambling for a job. And then one time, when I was head football coach at Nova, we take kids through the Carolinas and get them scholarships. And I met a gentleman who was defensive coordinator at Lenore Ryan. And he went from Lenore Ryan to Louisville to Texas El Paso, all in a span of 2.5 years. And what happened was we had a good running back and a good quarterback. When he went to Louisville, he recruited him. And when he went to Texas El Paso, because they had a great track program, he ended up convincing the quarterback and running back to go to Texas El Paso. So the third game of the season, the head coach gets fired. So he now is the interim head coach. So he calls me up and wanted to offer me a job. And he said, why don't you come up and talk? I'll send you airfare and everything. And then the day before we were going to leave, he found out that he got fired. So I said, time out. I'm just going to stay right where I am and get a retirement, coach high school baseball and football, and just enjoy that.
The grass isn't always greener.
No, and my dad always says, he says, the grass isn't always greener because sometimes that grass is sitting on the sewer.
Yep. And be careful what you wish for. That was the other thing my dad would say a lot. He goes, be careful what you wish for because there's some things that come with it that you may not expect.
Right.
So you coached cross country then for a little bit too, right?
Well, what I did was yeah, I got into that. Only
100 wins. I mean, don't discount that. That's a lot. That's a lot of cross country wins. 100 wins.
We went to state a couple of times. When I decided to not coach football, I wanted the AD, who was a good friend. He says, we need somebody for cross country. And I got to thinking, you know what? Get a chance to see the kids every day besides our open facility. So I made all the baseball kids run. And we went to the state tournament 2 or 3 times with baseball kids.
Funny how that works. You get competitive people in anything, you're going to win.
Yeah, we do our workout, and then they go into batting cage and hit.
At least they're going to be in shape then, too.
Yeah.
That's probably why you didn't have a lot of arm injuries. You guys were running in the fall and keeping their legs underneath them.
No, it was fun because it was there's no pressure. You know, it's up to the kids. It's an individual sport. I mean, you got on them when they didn't do things the right way, but there was no pressure to win or lose or whatever. You just got out there, and it was the kid. If he wanted to be good, he could be. But it was a good experience. We did it for like 5 years, something like that, 6, whatever.
Then did you always see yourself moving into the athletic director's role at some point?
No, I didn't want the job at all. We had a new principal come in, and the old guy that was the AD, who was a good friend, he was not ready to retire, but they sort of pushed him out a little bit. And the principal came to me, and I said, no. Then I got to thinking, we need somebody to come in here and protect the interests of all the other coaches instead of having somebody come in and then everything is going to change. So I took that on for 22 years or whatever it was. And it was good because you got to work with all the coaches and you got to improve their facilities and instead of just worry about, your little spot on the campus. So it was good. It was good.
With being in a military family, did you have to work at all growing up?
Did I have to work?
Yeah. Did you have a job? Did you have a high school job?
Every day. I can tell you a million different jobs. I was a bus boy. I worked in the sewer water line where I built manholes and put sewer and water lines in. I mean, worked at like a Publix or Winn-Dixie. No, I had to have a job, and I did the same thing with my dad told me, he said, if you want something, you're going to have to buy it. I'm not buying it for you. You want a car? You're going to have to. That was a different time then. So everybody worked all summer. You had a job maybe during the week a little bit. So you learned the value of a dollar. You learned the pecking order where you were in a business. You learned how to get along with people. It was like playing athletics. It was the same thing.
I say it all the time. I think every high school kid should have to work in the service industry at some point. And I loved being in the service industry. I loved it. Bussing tables was one of my first jobs. I think every high school kid should have to work in the service industry. I think it sets you up for being really successful later on in life.
Oh, for sure. I mean, just like my kids, they all had to have jobs. They all had to work during the summer, just like I told my kids. I said, you want a car? You have to earn $1,000 first. When you get that $1,000, we'll get you a car. During the summer, you make the car payment. So you see that check coming in and the check going out,
Yep.
where it's not all your money, you're paying for something. And I think that teaches a valuable lesson where, you have to be accountable. You have to be able to fend for yourself, because before you know it, you're going to be on your own anyway, and you're going to have to figure out how to pay that mortgage and take care of your kids and those kinds of things. So yeah, I'm a big advocate of that. And just like in our baseball program, our kids all had to earn money for the program in the sense where we parked cars at the hockey arena. We did the concession stands at the Dolphin games. And no, you're not just going to use the batting cage. We're building the batting cage. So you had kids before raising the money to build something, and then the other kids got to use it. Now they have to do something for the program. So I always believe that, no, you're going to not giving a fundraiser to mom and dad to do. You're going to go out and do it. And I always had some of my ex-players say, Coach, we'll give you $1,000. I want your kids to come over and clean my warehouse or something. So we always had things like that.
When did you start your golf tournament and then the marathon baseball game?
Probably it would have been third or fourth year after I coached. It was a situation where we wanted to start a Hall of Fame, wanted to bring the alumni back in, and really, it's the best weekend of the year, because what happens is you have the alumni game. We've had as many as 600 people, and it's a free meal. Don't charge, families come out, and, you get to see your ex-players and see their families, and, you have a big barbecue, and the moms bring the side dishes, and we play baseball for 3 hours, alumni game against our kids. And it's just a fun day. We'd have a bounce house for the little kids. We'd have pony rides for the kids, and it was good. And then the night before the game, we'd have our Hall of Fame. So we had a big dinner where I introduce our team for the coming year. And then we put 5 or 6 kids in the Hall of Fame. Then the next day is
So
the
it's
barbecue.
baseball only Hall of Fame then?
Yeah.
Awesome. Did you steal all that from Ron Frazier?
Oh, I don't know. He was the man, though.
Some of my favorite stories are the Ron Frazier stories.
Oh yeah, and Skip Burtman too. I remember when he was a high school coach.
Yep.
People don't realize that he was at Miami Beach High for a while, and then we end the weekend Sunday with our golf tournament. So it's just a good way to get to see the ex-players and show our kids, the family atmosphere, and get the parents involved. And then, it's the beginning of the year. You don't have any parents mad at you yet. So
best time to do it. Do it before the season starts.
So it's good. It's good.
Who did you kind of lean in on, or resources that you used when you first got into it to try to help you figure things out?
I'm an observer. I mean, I don't think there was any one person. I just observe the successful people and see, the things that they've done, and try to integrate it into your program. So I'd say more I was observer, listen to people. I mean, especially, the first convention I went to was in 1974, and just to see the people and network and get with some other coaches and, see what they're doing, the things that they're doing. So it's just sort of observe and try some things and try to mold it to your program.
Was that convention in Miami?
Probably 74.
That was my dad's first convention, by the way, was 74. The Fontainebleau.
It was either Miami or it was San Francisco. I don't remember which.
I mean, what does it mean to you going into the ABCA Hall of Fame?
Oh, I think it's. I cry when I think about it because it's not. It's one of those dreams that you never thought would come true, and here I am going in with Jim Morris and going in, with O'Connell from Virginia and
Danny
Georgia
Hall,
Tech.
Jim Wells.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
the laundry
Jim Nelson.
list. And by the way, y'all are connected in a lot of different ways. Just looking through and talking to people, y'all have some connections with each other. It's awesome.
I know. My daughter plays softball at Alabama, so I used to go when she was in college. When we'd go up there, first thing I would do in the fall, I would go watch the practice. I said, no, I'm going to Alabama's baseball practice for a couple hours and watch Jim coach. And then one of my players, Jeff Fiorentino, got the big hit against him to beat him in one of the regional games. He played for FAU. So that was sort of neat. But yeah, it's, no, the people that you're going to, you never, you look up to those people. And here I am. I'm just a high school coach that teach, athletic director, teach weight training, and to be honored it's amazing. I mean, I don't know how that happened.
I do. Look at your record and everything that you've done. I mean, you got a stadium named after you.
There's a lot of guys that have coached, high school athletics for 30 years that are successful and that don't get the accolades and the recognition that they deserve.
Any specific shout outs you want to give? I know you don't have much time on the stage, so any specific shout outs you want to give? That not that you can get to everybody, but do you have some specific shout outs you want to give?
Oh, the big thing is, and you can't mention the names, but we've built a beautiful facility at Nova. And it's from all the parents and the ex-players that, just, do we have time to tell a couple stories?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I've been to your field, by the way. One year Jupiter got switched, and I've been to your guys' field. It's beautiful.
Okay, well, let's see. What year was that? Because it's even better now.
It all runs together. I can't remember.
So I had a couple. First, it would have been 1990 maybe. Yeah, probably 90 before we went to the Final Four in 91. Had a couple parents come to me, and they said, Coach, we have no bathrooms out here. Can we build some bathrooms and maybe a concession stand? So we sat down and talked. I said, why don't we just go a little bigger and build a locker room, concession stands, and bathrooms and everything? Because now that whole thing is, our bathrooms are used during the football games because we have a football stadium out there. But anyway, I went to the school board, and we had the blueprints and everything, and trying to get it approved, trying to do it the right way. And they said, because we originally had it for septic tanks out there for the bathroom. Said, no, you can't put septic tanks. I said, well, what can we do that you're going to let us build a building? I said, well, you got to get the water and sewer out there. So I made some phone calls, and this was Ryan Nash's dad, and Nash Construction. Had the baseball kids out Christmas vacation, and we put in 1,000 feet of sewer pipe and 600 feet of water and a lift station in 2 weeks where the kids worked. Then we went to the school board and they said, okay, you can build it. So just things like that. And then Brett Atkinson from Moss Construction, he's the CEO. He put our beautiful stadium outfield wall that's 8 feet and 16 feet in center field. He did that at really no cost to us, just got people in the construction industry to do that. Our indoor batting facility with Bruce Bedard and Doug Amos, who was the contractor on on all the other projects. Our batting cage is 90 by 90. So just all the people that thought it was important to help our program. We're a public school, and you don't get that in a public school because they don't have the money to build stuff. We can seat 1,000 people at the stadium now, elevated bleachers. So it's just all the people that helped because they thought it was important that the kids had a nice facility.
But also a testament to you and how you treated people. Like,
Well,
that stuff doesn't come to you. If you don't treat people right, that stuff doesn't come to you.
No, I mean, just like 2 years ago, we wanted to renovate the locker room. And I called up one of my ex-players. He came and redid all the flooring. And then we got all the alumni to donate for the new lockers. So it's just, it's good when you make a phone call and the ex-players aren't avoiding you. They call you, what can I help you with? And that to me is special.
Do you have a fail-forward moment? Do you have something you thought was going to sidetrack you, but looking back now, it's one of the best things that helped you move forward?
No, I was always
maybe not getting into college football.
Well, probably because I'd be bouncing around. But who knows? Maybe I'd be a head coach and making $10 million a year. I don't know. Those things you never know. I think if you go with your heart and you go with your gut feelings, things work out. I just always thought that, and I don't think it was the fear of the of the unknown. It was just, I don't want to move my family all over the place, and that type of thing. And Nova was my home, always good to me. That's where I went to school, and my family graduated there. So I think it just felt like home. And then before you know it, you taught 49 years,
You're still in great shape. So do you have any morning or evening routines that you do that you like?
Oh, I'm getting to where I'm sleeping a little bit later in the morning than I should, but I try to run 4 or 5 miles every other day, and then I lift at least 4 days a week. So I think that's my routine.
So how are you mixing in your lift days with your run days?
Because the gym's 24 hours. It just depends on how I feel. If I got 2 hours, I'll run to the gym, or I'll go out to school and lift. Jogging, it just depends on if it's morning or afternoon. There's no really set time. And then my day is occupied with taking grandkids to ball fields and doing those kinds of things. And then my retirement hobby is making baseball bats.
Love it. So you got your own lathe and everything at the house?
Yeah, we got 2 lathes, and my son is an amazing woodworker. He's the guy that has the chainsaw and goes out and does all the carvings. So, a quick story on that about maybe when he was in high school, or I think I told him one time, you know what, sometime I want to make a baseball bat. So he bought me one Christmas. He bought me a billet, and it sat in the garage for like 12 years, just sat there. And then one of our shop teachers at Nova, he was moving or something. He had a lathe, and he said, "Can you store this for me in the garage?" Then my son says, "Dad, we're gonna make a bat." So that's what started it, and we're making about 140 bats a year. And the whole premise was to get sponsors and give the bats to the kids that can't afford it. So we've done it for 3 years now. So
it's like the natural.
Yeah, well, yeah, but it's fun. It gives me something to do because I didn't want to get another job, and I'm probably losing more money than I'm making. But I got like 3 or 4 ex-players that will sponsor kids. So we give them to any kids that that can't afford a wood bat. I got some kids in college, because if you're going to be a good baseball player, you got to learn how to hit with a wood bat.
Did you have your high school guys do that too?
Yeah, yeah, they hit with wood in the cage.
We did all fall.
Yeah, well, you learn the sweet spot, and well, another quick story is when I started. Kids don't believe this. When I started coaching, 73, 74, we bought the kids. Every kid on the team got a wood bat. It was $1.99 for a wood bat. Louisville. and then in like 75 or something, with the aluminum bat,
the Green Easton.
The first aluminum bat was the Tennessee Thumper.
Yep, that's right.
That was $9.99.
Yep.
And you bought that because you wanted to save money. So it's crazy. You tell the kids those stories. No.
Tennessee Thumper was my first Little League bat.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
But yeah, I was a huge advocate of using wood in the off season, especially.
Right. No, it teaches the kids, because they find a sweet spot. They have a little issues with the balance. It's going to help their bat speed, and yeah, I think it's.
And their pitch selection's way better because they don't want to break the bat.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a lot of it. Is kids are cognizant of not wanting to break the bat, so I think their plate selection, their plate discipline's much better.
But still, that inside pitch comes in, your hands just automatically go to that pitch, even when you don't want it to sometimes.
What are some final thoughts before I let you go, Coach?
Really, that I'm humbled by the honor. I appreciate it, and I think it's for all the high school guys that deserve to be recognized. I think it's high school is all about the kids, and and I think as a person, you need to chase your dreams. Don't let anybody. There's so many naysayers out there that are going to tell you no. Have a vision and a plan for your life. It's never too late to be great. Just because you're 55 doesn't mean the best years are, ahead of you. Be stronger, than your excuses. I think it's easy. It's easy to be lazy. It's hard to be a winner every day. Take responsibility for your actions, and like I said, be stronger than your excuses. And then two other things: be a service to your fellow man. Give back. Remember where you came from. And the other thing is, family is the most important thing. And to your family, every day, try to kiss them, hug them, and tell them you love them. And I think the three most important things you have is your family, your name, and your word. And if you live by that, it'll be a good life.
And shout out to the Hall of Fame committee, by the way. They've done a really good job here lately of getting deserving high school coaches in. They've done a lot of work on that. So I'm happy that we're starting to shine a light on more of our great high school coaches that we've had, because it is for everybody. The organization's for everybody.
One shout out to Lauren Torres. Lauren Torres was a third baseman for us and played on our 91 championship team, but he's presently the coach at Point Park University in Pittsburgh, and he's the one that organized my resume and submitted it to the committee, so he must have done a heck of a job, and then to all the former players and colleagues that helped in that process, I appreciate that, because you never know what in that resume, piqued the interest of the committee.
Well, you have a great one, so.
Well, but it's, who knows? There's a lot of people out there with great ones. I just enjoyed my whole career. Wake up every day. It wasn't a job. Wake up every day. You're going to deal with kids and help them along the way. Help them get into to college and helped them with their careers. And I can tell you so many stories of kids that our program helped, you know, ex-players getting people jobs and, you know, doing things like, you know, ex-players that are coaching in college, taking care of some of our kids that needed scholarships. So, I mean, it's a family, you know.
Community. Like I said earlier, you built a community, and it shows in every aspect of it. So appreciate your time, Coach. I'm looking forward to seeing you in Dallas.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I enjoyed this. Take care. Have a great holiday.